Okay, so how does this all work? How do we go from nothing to global sustainability? Okay, well, we have a three-step process that applies to every single country. And in Canada's case, we've already gone through the first stage, which is diplomacy. It's basically just establishing diplomatic ties and making sure that we can get the proposals to where they need to go, etc. Stage number two, which is what we're on right now, that's the analysis stage. Now, for the analysis stage, we basically build out a map, you could say, that digitally models out all possible network variations between all possible sustainable infrastructure development locations. So what do I mean by that? So ultimately, a deep water port, for example, those can only go in certain locations, even on the shoreline, because of a ton of different factors, but same with all other types of infrastructure as well. It can only go in certain locations. So we model that out, we model out all network variations between them, and then we're not looking for what is most sustainable in one specific location, which is how basically all Canadian project planning goes, which is okay, it's how most of the world does it, but we're looking for the most sustainable system nationwide. From there, we then, there's a lot of other factors that go into it as well too, we're looking at, of course, how's the international community going to feel about this? How's our different indigenous communities and different stakeholders around going to be affected and stuff like that? Do we have to be able to, anyways, there's a ton of different factors for it, but so we build that out, and yeah, once that's complete, and using an international team, etc., but once it's complete, we use that to consult with the Canadian government to basically say, okay, here's transparent information that is, world renowned and backed up by all these people, whatever, blah blah blah. It's transparent, you can check it out yourself. This is what we recommend is the best thing, the best plan or cohesive vision for national development, and this is why, of course, too. So we show them all that. From those conversations, by working in consultation with the Canadian government, we then decide on a plan of how do we want to move forward with development, right? From there, we then work on a project by project basis. We're now moving into the third stage, which is, well, this is once the analysis stage is complete. Moving into a project by project basis, we focus on every single area individually that the Canadian government has said that they want to have development in, organizing international research and development teams to be able to provide sustainable and innovative solutions that would otherwise be unattainable. So yeah, it's really simple. It's very straightforward. It surprisingly hasn't been done yet. Canada's very lucky in that we have great infrastructure, well, pretty good infrastructure, but a lot of other areas in the world don't even have infrastructural development plans, and if they do, then sustainability is an afterthought. So this will be a fantastic boost to Canada, a long-term GDP revenue increase, blah, 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 whatever, sustainability stuff, excellent. Saving the coastal shorelines from being, tossed into the sea and all that good stuff. Very important. We all want to save the polar bears, for sure. Moving on from Canada, though, working with every single country, country by country, looking out for their own individual interests, as opposed to coming in as some of our global competitors would be doing, looking at centralizing power more in their area. We're looking at developing each country for their own, for their own good, essentially, and in consultation with them. We're not going in there being like, this is what we're going to do, or this is what you're going to do. We're going in and be like, hey, here's all this transparent information that no one gave you before. Let's have a conversation. What would you like to do? What do you think is best? We work out a plan on that, and then we start doing development based around that, based on what they can afford and what we can arrange as well, of course, too, right? So it's very important. This is the only way really that we can go for a truly sustainable global infrastructure system. If we have another power centralized model, then, well, I'm not going to get too into the nitty-gritties of it, but I mean, we can all imagine how that will go, because we've already been seeing that happen over the last couple of decades, of course. But yeah, so a sustainable infrastructure system, that's what we're shooting for. Locking down this analysis stage with Canada is very important, of course. Once that's done, we can then build out with Canada, and we have these proposals going on with other countries as well too, but Canada being the first one to get back to us, it's of course very important that it goes well. So anyways, that's how everything works in a 4-minute nutshell. Thanks so much for your time, and I'll talk to you more soon.